Hi friends, Vinay Kumar here, International NLP and IAS coach. Welcome you all to IAS Vinishers Economic Survey and Budget course for this year. Which means what? Union Budget 2021 and Economic Survey 2020. Let's first start with Economic Survey, my dear friends. From there, we'll go to the budget. Fair enough? Is that okay, my dear friends? All right. Now, having said that, first thing first, let me set some important precedents. I mean, let me set some rules of the game, my dear friends. I request you all to quickly go grab your notes. I mean, the notepad or whatever where you'll make notes. Grab it, okay, and make some useful notes as you listen to this class, my dear friends. Okay, because the way in which this knowledge of economic survey and budget is being organized by us. There is a team that has worked with me, and the way we have organized it, it should be useful to your interview first, mains second, and of course to the prelims as well. Fair enough, my dear friends. I repeat again, the way in which we have organically organized the knowledge of economic survey and budget is first useful to your interview. Remember, my dear friends, it's for interview that economic survey knowledge is super important. All right. Then to the mains and then to prelims. Fair enough, my dear friends. That's how it is done. So quickly get that note so that get that notepad so that you can make some very useful notes. And when you make notes in your own handwriting, it becomes application friendly. You can use it really well in any stage of the exam, my dear friends. All right. Having said this, all my dear friends, let me quickly introduce to you what does the survey do? Yeah, Chief Economic Advisor, Ministry of Economic Affairs, sorry, Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, my dear friends, uh, formulates the survey every year, okay? And volume 1 and volume 2, this has been the convention followed by uh, people who you know prepare the survey for last few years, my dear friends. I think more than some 5 years now. Earlier we used to have only one survey. Slowly they started to have two, volume 1 and volume 2. Volume 1 generally does analysis of the important developments in economy and their macroeconomic implications, my dear friends. Volume 1 does analysis of important economic developments in the last 1 year and the and the implications that it has to the overall macroeconomy. Fair enough. That's what the volume 1 does. Volume 2, my dear friends, helps us understand how different sectors have behaved in terms of growth, in terms of whatever progress and the new developments that have happened and all those things, my dear friends. Fair enough. Is it okay? So in this uh, what do you call, the education that we are going to in this educational interaction that we are going to get into now, I'll first start with volume 1, my dear friends, because volume 1 of economic survey will set the context for you, my dear friends. Volume 2 will take you to the content. But do remember, my dear friends, context is always more important than the content. Background of knowledge is as important as the knowledge, my dear friends. Fair enough? Is that okay? So let us get into our learning of volume 1 of economic survey. Let us get into the minds of economists who have done deeper analysis of important economic developments and their implications to the economy. Fair enough, my dear friends. All right. Can we get started? Yeah, if you are ready, say, my dear friends, wherever you are sitting, I'm ready. Superb. Now, do you have the notepad and all that ready? Yeah, thank you so much, my dear friends. Let's start. So the very first chapter starts like this, my dear friends. It says India's humane policy response. Hmm? short term Short term pain for long term gain. Okay. Now, what is this chapter talking about? Let me set the context for you, my dear friends, as the people have done it within the economic survey. Now, this is what economists are trying to help us come into terms with in this chapter, in this very first chapter. This is what I'm going to explain to you now. Whenever in an economy alternatives exist, okay, especially when it comes to policy making, when alternatives exist, there is a trade-off. Agreed, my dear friends? Let's go back to that age-old Adam Eve, thing, my dear friends, where is growth more important or controlling inflation more important? Whenever, whenever, my dear friends, there are alternatives, you know, uh, when whenever there are alternatives in an economy, and the decision maker has to choose between the alternatives in his efforts to formulate policies, okay, uh, we will have to have trade-offs. Trade-off is what? Gaining something can only happen by losing something, my dear friends. Now, COVID-19 pandemic had exactly created a situation like this for us. On one hand, we had to save lives because a country like India with very high density of population, a lot of people to people contact, it was projected that there would be more than 30 crore cases of infections and some several thousands of deaths just within a month or two from the first case of COVID. That's what was projected. I don't say it actually happened, my dear friends. Fair enough. Okay. When the projections were like that, we had to think of something, we had to think out of box. I mean, we had to think of some substantial measure rather than going for a half-hearted approach. We had to go for a substantial measure like imposing a national lockdown if we had to save lives, my dear friends. All right. On one hand. On another hand, we had, see, look at here. There is economic impact of a lockdown. If you go for a lockdown with an object to save lives, you will have to bear the economic impact of the lockdown in terms of loss of livelihoods. So, the trade off was between lives, saving lives, and protecting livelihoods. We had to choose between the two. Will you save lives or will you protect livelihoods? If you try to protect livelihoods, you are going to lose lot of lives. If you are going to save lives, then there is going to be, people are going to get into some economic problems. No, when a rare situation like this, once in a century crisis like this happens, what should the decision makers do? What should the policy makers do? This is what economic survey is trying to guide us into, my dear friends. Fair enough. And you know what economic survey says in the very first chapter when it says India's humane policy response situation is there. Policy response is needed. What it is advocating, what it is prescribing, go for short-term pain of, go for a short-term pain of not protecting livelihoods so that you're able to save lives and have long-term gains. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? That's what the first chapter of economic survey in essence is about, my dear friends. So to sum up to you, what it is trying to tell you, in any economy, situations arise when there are alternatives to choose where there is a definite trade off. Gaining on one hand will mean automatically losing on another hand, losing on another. Perfect. In such a case, we will have to go for a well thought out human as the center of policy making. Look at here, guys. Is the job of a human being more important or the human being himself more important? What do you feel? Human being himself is more important, right? So saving life is more important than saving his job. Yes or no? Perfect. So we went for a well researched, well thought out, humanistic policy response in the form of saving lives. When you try to save lives at the cost of livelihood, is there pain? Yes, there is. There is a short term pain. But when the lives are protected, in the long run, we will definitely gain. Now, is it automatic? No. That's what economic survey tells you. It talks about how to have, how India went for a timely lockdown to save lives, but it did not stop there. That is what economic survey is trying to tell you. It did not stop there. Having imposed a lockdown, preventing, preventing that disproportionately high number of casualties and fatalities, it also ensured that there was V-shaped economic recovery. In fact, such timely was the lockdown and so stringent was the lockdown, my dear friends. It not only helped in protecting human lives, but also because of the gradual and timely unlocking, there was V-shaped economic recovery, my dear friends. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? Perfect, my dear friends. In fact, one laudable thing about India that the survey appreciates is, my dear friends, India did not take this, India did not take this crisis to what do you call, have reasons. India did not take this lockdown or the crisis to give reasons for not achieving whatever economic growth was due to the country, or whatever major reforms had to happen in the economy. Instead, my dear friends, one superb thing India did, you know what, it did not just it did not just add to piecemeal changes in economy trying to restore the health of economy, but it went for structural reforms in the economy. First of its kind, my dear friends. Look at here. You're already in crisis. When you are in crisis, what people would look at, how I can come out of crisis is what people will look into. Perfect. That's what you also did. What did you do? You imposed the national lockdown, 40 days, stringent one. All that was fine. But then what most economies did was, hey, how will we, how will we quickly create some job opportunities to people? How will we try to restore economic health to whatever normal we can? But India did not do that, my dear friends. Awesome India is. You know what it did? It used this crisis as an opportunity to structurally reform the economy that was due for a long time. The labor reforms happened now. Agricultural reforms happened now. Lot of reforms that was due in the MSME sector came now. Health reforms, the lockdown, my dear friends, was used as an opportunity. See, I'll just give you an example, my dear friends. We had just one lab to test COVID cases in Pune. Just in a matter of 40 days, there were thousands of laboratories across India. Are you connecting to? So, these 40 days was used by India tactically to increase the surveillance, to expand the testing infrastructure, to enhance the medical interventions, bring in whatever medical infrastructure you can, medical, the human resource that you can. All right. And educating people on social distancing, educating people on wearing masks, importance of wearing masks. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? So the time of lockdown was used so well that even in a time like COVID pandemic, when there is crisis, India did not just think about how to simply come out of the crisis, but when I come out of the crisis, I have to come out much, much stronger. My economy should be ready for, you know, bigger level of growth. My economy should be ready for a bigger game to play. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends? Fair enough? Okay. So that is what the first chapter of Volume 1 Economic Survey is trying to tell you in essence. Perfect. So if you actually look at the sequence of what the survey talks about in the first chapter, it starts like this. There is trade-off between saving lives and saving livelihoods. Lives or livelihoods. Decision has to be made. The Indian government takes the decision to save lives at the cost of livelihoods. Short-term pain for long-term gain. Again, was the lockdown wasted? No. Look at the word that I used. Lockdown was not wasted. A lockdown-like condition was used by India to, ramp up, revamp its medical infrastructure, my dear friends, health infrastructure. At the same time, it also brought about much needed structural reforms in the economy. And with all this, India was quickly able to have a V-shaped economic recovery, which most countries could not, my dear friends. Even see, and by the way, my dear friends, India is the only country after Argentina to not have a second wave of pandemic, even though life has come to complete normal. Is it a mean, is it a small uh, win, my dear friends? Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? Perfect. So you got the sequence right, my dear friends. Absolutely. This is how you will have to know things in the volume 1, my dear friends. Volume 2, we have a different way of learning. We'll have to remember facts, we'll have to remember those statistics, all those things. But volume 1 is to be understood in the way you just learnt it now, my dear friends. Are you connecting to what I'm trying to tell you? Thank you so much, my dear friends. Uh, I'll, in my next video, we will start with interacting on the chapter 2 of volume 1 of the economic survey. Thank you, my dear friend.